lady's time has expired. Mr. Moore.
Thank you for the witnesses being here today. Our social services programs have been negatively affected by the rise of migrants. Taxpayers have footed a bill for illegal immigrants by shelling out over $150 billion of their hard-earned money. I saw firsthand at the border, hospitals are overflowed. American citizens had to travel for hours to get their medical needs met because the local hospitals could not take them. Whether it be your doctor's appointments, your kids' teachers being stretched thin, you can bet that they have been negatively impacted by the illegal immigration. One of the things I found interesting, as we were traveling in Yuma, Arizona, is the hospitals, the young people, the young ladies would come right across the border and have a baby. And then by federal law, the hospitals had to provide the car seats before they could send them on their way. So we're not doing anything to secure the U.S. southern border. Chief, I know you'd like to have the additional money, but wouldn't you rather us do some things to kind of slow the flow from other countries? I mean, we had 106 different nations come through Yuma, Arizona, according to Sheriff Daniels. Wouldn't you rather us do something besides send money? It's like setting a house on fire and then funding the fire department. I don't quite understand the benefit of extra money while we're setting the place on fire. So, Chief, would you rather us just secure the border and stop this flow of immigrants from all over the globe? 302,000 last month, I think, came here. Wouldn't that be better than just sending a little money?
Yes, sir.
I think not only just for you, sir, but the people that are dying 150 a day that are dying of fentanyl poisoning. I think it'd be better for those families as well. Or the displaced American citizens that we're now kicking out of school systems. There's a lot of things we can do instead of just funding the failure of this Department of Homeland Security and this executive branch that we've got that have created this issue. Sheriff Daniels said in here in testimony in 2018, or he said he'd been there 40 years on the border. Never had he seen it as good as it was in 2018. And never as bad as it is right now, and that was before last month. And so there are a lot of things. It's always government. We want to throw more money at the problem. We create the problem, we set the building on fire, and then we fund the fire department. That's kind of the way I see this. And so anyway, is it Ms. Egeroff? Is that how you say it? With the new strain influx of illegal immigrants, can you explain kind of what this is doing to your schools? I mean, we have these, I understand there are 57 different dialects of Spanish that are just south of the U.S. southern border down through South America. Are we seeing where we just really cannot communicate to these kids? And can you talk about the strain that it's putting on your school system?
I think the biggest problem is that there's already a shortage of ESL teachers, so teachers who can teach children who don't speak English. And even if we had more financial resources, there's just so many teachers who are qualified to teach these children. And also, as I mentioned, I think the paraprofessionals shortage has already existed as well. And so the children who are coming, who are crossing the border, are going through some horrible experiences. They're arriving with very severe needs. And our schools are not necessarily designed to deal with such, impacts on their mental health and physical health.
Ms. Aguero, when you say severe needs, can you elaborate a little bit? Is it, because I understand we have over 86,000 unaccompanied minors that we've lost. The federal government has brought here, and we've shipped them to all over the United States, and we're hearing about these kids working now in these sweatshops or whatever you want to call them. But also, we're not even background checking. We had one sponsor that got 20 children, and we didn't do a background check. So we don't know where we sent these 20 children to this one individual. So could you talk about, I don't have a whole lot of time, but just when you say some pretty extreme situations, or can you elaborate a little bit on what we're looking at?
I can give you anecdotal data about my district. I believe just last month there was a 10-year-old in a shelter who committed suicide. We don't know what that boy went through crossing the border, right? But I think that, the federal government has provided us data. In my testimony, I refer to the 2019 report that specifically says how children are being raped, are being child trafficked, there's sexual violence, sexual trafficking, and literally there are, if you look in the internet, there are videos of children who have been medicated, who are not even, conscious, being used to cross the border. And there are many cases in that report of the Homeland Security as well, of children who are being used. They literally come, help an adult get into the U.S., and they're sent back to help another adult.
They're like on a treadmill. They come over,
Yes.
they identify as the student or the child of this individual adult, then they grab the child once the adult's here, send them back across the border,
Yes.
and they're basically they're just on a little treadmill.
It's child
And they're
trafficking, and we have known that for many years because there is a report from the
Sure.
Department of Homeland
My
Security.
time's up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hunt.